What is going on, guys? It's Daniel Wright, and you are here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. If you are watching this right now, you can see that I am back in the truck. It's been a busy week this week, so I've got a little bit of a drive right now. Figured I would hop on here and bring you guys my message for this Saturday. So I'll get straight down to the point. You can see on the title of today's episode, Getting Out of Average. For some reason, it's been on my mind the last couple of days about how hard it is for average people to see and want big changes in their lives. Okay. Now let me dive into that a little bit. All right. If you relate this to a health and your physical health, your well-being and stuff. If you're somebody who is, say, 100 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, whatever it is, and you start dieting, working out, going to the gym, things like that, you're going to see changes and differences significantly faster than a person, a man or a woman, who has an average body, right? Maybe they're a little bit overweight. They kind of have, good genes, and so they're not, they can kind of eat what they want. They don't have to work out much, and they're just kind of an average looking person. The person who's massively overweight is going to see big changes way quicker. So therefore, you're going to get instant gratification for the effort and the work that you're putting in way quicker than the average person. All right. Same thing goes if you're on the opposite end of that spectrum. If you're super skinny and you've just never really been one to go to the gym or to lift weights or to eat more, nutrients, proteins or things like that to try and put on some weight and put on some size, if that's what you're wanting to do, you're going to see results a lot quicker than the average guy or the average girl who's trying to maybe tone up or bulk up or whatever it may be. Right? So there's that side of getting out of average, right? But then if we look at the other side of average from a financial and an economical standpoint, if I was to bet that the majority of the people listening to this show right now could probably relate to growing up in an average lifestyle, meaning that you didn't necessarily want for much. I mean, you had your meals taken care of, you had a roof over your head, you had clothes on your back. I'm not saying that there weren't, difficult times growing up that maybe us, as kids at the time didn't really know about. But it was never really, hey, we don't know where we're going to sleep tonight. We don't know where our next meal's coming from. I would say the majority of people listening to this would relate to that. I'm not saying everyone has. I know that there were people that, had hard times or grew up in, really well off environments and some that really didn't have much growing up. So I get that. I'm talking about the majority, right? The average. The problem with that, with growing up average, is it was never actually bad enough that you see a desire or a need to change or to do anything different as you get older. But it was also never really great enough to give you a lot of really strong ambition and drive and motivation to build a better life for you and your family. So when you grow up average and you don't have much of a reason given to you to do much different, whether that's, like I said, keep the drive to achieve more or have to make changes to try and, have a better life or whatever it might be, if you don't see anything like that, then you're not going to really have anything ingrained and instilled in your brain to do so. So with that being said, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that when you are trying to fight out of average, that you are finding things that you have to cling on to or that motivate you or drive you or push you to become the better version of yourself. All right, because you always hear the story, right? Whether that he came nothing or she came from nowhere and all of a sudden just made it for herself. Well, you know what? I'm not saying that accomplishing those things is any easier because coming from rags to riches, but I can promise you that the motivation to get there is way stronger than the person who's trying to become something great that comes from average. All right. So when you're trying to find those ways to do it, you have to dig into something deeper than just, oh, it'd be cool to run my own business, or it'd be cool to be a professional athlete. If you don't have something bigger, deeper, and more meaningful than that, then you're not going to escape where you're at now. You're not going to escape your present. Okay, so keep that in mind. If it's you, a family member, a friend, coworkers, whatever it is, if they're trying to build something better for their lives than what they have right now, take a second and actually like try to understand that. Where are they coming from? What are they doing this for? And what are they trying to get to? And how can you help them do that? Because I'm telling you right now, guys, it's something that, like for me personally, I've tapped into one to build a bigger business, to have a bigger impact, and to, just be a bigger brand and a bigger player in our industry, because I see how much potential there is out there just for business, not just for generating revenue and completing jobs and sending invoices. I'm talking about the potential to make a difference in an industry for everybody in and around it, right? The contractors, can we set a better example for other contractors, ones that are just starting or growing or trying to make some changes in their businesses? Yes, we can make an impact there. For the clients, can we provide them a better experience by having more influence with other contractors that they work with and trying to raise that standard of expectations in our industry? Yes. For the vendors, can we set examples on what it's like to be a client paying vendors, and then how we pay our client or pay our vendors promptly and get them taken care of and squared away and treat them with respect and appreciation? Yes. And then other contractors, the other competitors and things like that. If we're constantly raising standards and making an impact and setting examples for people, then we're not doing anything bad at all. We're doing nothing but good. So I've tapped into, as a guy who came from average, I came from a middle to upper class suburban family. We didn't really want for much. I'm sure there were probably hard times that we never knew about as kids, like I mentioned earlier. We did, we were fortunate to play sports or to have vehicles to drive as we grew up, things like that. But there was nothing really ever, like in my immediate household, it wasn't just like this massively like, oh my gosh, you're either, poverty, poor, you want to pull out of the rags to riches. And there wasn't any of this massive like success that said, okay, I have to do this, and this to keep up with what I'm living now. It was just a good average life, right? And anybody who knows me for any amount of time has known that I believe average sucks. All right. And that's not to insult my childhood, it's to insult growing up in an average lifestyle. I'm saying average sucks in the way that if you think about the average, you're literally taking the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows, and falling somewhere right in the middle. That is nothing to write home about. That is nothing to be proud of, right? So trying to get out of that average life, to push yourself to be better than what you are currently being, or maybe what you've been brought up to believe that you can be, that's something that's really difficult if you come from the average, all right? So the people who are trying to do this right now, the ones that are really pushing to grow, and you're trying to find that motivation, that determination, the inspiration, whatever it is, turn that shit into discipline, turn that stuff into things that you can really hone into, that are constant day in and day out, that regardless of how you feel that day, they're still there. Those goals are still there. Those aspirations are still there. And that's where you're going to find yourself with that constant fuel and energy to keep pushing out of the average. So I can tell you guys, like I said, as somebody who's trying to build a better life for not just myself, but all those that are around me that I impact and that I have an influence on, it is very difficult some days, because I sit and look around at my life right now and I'm like, my life's not bad. I have a great wife. I have a good business. I have good friends, a good family. I have, I get to have fun and things like that. It's not bad, but I know that I'm capable of more. If I stopped here, I would be settling for average, and that's all that it would be, right? So making sure that you tap into those things, those bigger, deeper meanings, is what's going to be the difference between succeeding and getting out of average or just staying right where you're at. So, guys, that's my message for you today. I hope you have a great Saturday, a great rest of your weekend, wherever you may be at. I hope you're able to enjoy it, doing whatever it is that you like, with whoever it is you like, wherever you like. So, guys, I hope this paves the way for you, and let me know if you need anything. Thank you. Take care.